Copblock Radio is filmed live in secret locations across the country. All co-hosts are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. What's up, guys? This is Severin Freeman from Lehigh Valley Copblock.
This is Matthew Taylor of Carbon County Copblock.
Andrew Henderson of Minnesota Copblock.
And we have ourselves a guest host.
Oh, that's right. It's Niz from Disassociation Nation.
What's up, Niz?
Not much, man. How you doing?
He asked you a question and he walks away, so I'm going to go ahead and answer that. Yeah, I think we're doing just great. This week had some crazy cool stuff. I got myself a nice new great bundle of joy that I could be excited about. My microphone.
Yes.
But also, on top of that, I know we've been talking about it for a couple weeks here, and you know what? Finally, the baby came. Yay!
Congratulations.
And it didn't happen before the show. That baby cooperated. It was very...
Yeah, he picked the perfect day. He was like, here, I'm going to go right after the shows.
But you know what? I can't believe I just used the word cooperated, because I think your wife would hit me if she heard that. That baby was the most stubborn baby on the history of babies.
It's like, here, 4 weeks ahead, why don't I just start acting like I'm going to come every 3 days?
That kid will definitely be hearing stories from his mom later in life being yelled at, like, you know how much hell you put me through.
Listen, okay. Just to tell you the kind of way that she holds a grudge, okay. 2 years ago, she bought a pair of shoes and I accidentally stepped on them right before she could wear them. She still has these shoes. She never wears them, but every so often she goes over to the closet, she picks it up and she looks at it and goes, and puts it back down. So if I get that over shoes, he's gonna hear about this until the day she dies.
Oh man. So everybody knows who me and Matt are, but we have Andrew on intermittently doing some wonderful things out in Minnesota. And tonight we have a special guest. Our last few guest hosts was named Paul Gordon from Dissociation Nation and several other projects. Well, this is the other half of his show, Dissociation Nation. So it is an awesome show. You want to tell the audience about that show?
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much, we're two abolitionists, and if you don't know what abolitionists are, we would like to see a stateless society. We pretty much go through news, go through events, and give the abolitionist view on it. We both consider ourselves anarchists, voluntarists, and our show is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on the FPRN radio network. That's the Freedom Failings radio network. And we go through, give our spin on the news, have a good time, joke around, and we have some pretty interesting guests on. We had Severin and Matt on beginning of this week. A week before that, we had a conversation with Cal Molinet from Liberate RVA. We also had Danny Roldan on. He's a former OG of We Are Change, and we had a discussion about roads and who would take care of roads in a stateless society.
I have a question for you over there on Disassociation Nation now. I might be playing a little inside baseball here, but do you guys use acronyms at all?
Come on. Everything in life is an acronym, right, Severin?
Am I going to ever live down using the word to describe something?
Never.
Man, I thought something was an acronym that wasn't an acronym. And then I later said what an acronym is, but apparently it's a joke. Whatever. Go listen to the last episode of Dissociation Nation, hear what they're talking about. It was pretty funny. We had a good laugh out of it. But so anyway, we got Andrew on the line. You're only on for a short time, so I want to get over to what's going on in Minnesota. You had some big things happening in the last few weeks, some big moves being made. Tell us about what's happening.
Definitely. Well, I'm taking a run for city council this year in the city of Little Canada.
So what does that entail? Like, do you have a clean criminal record?
Yeah, except for a couple minor parking infractions, stuff like that, but nothing major.
You're not one of those felon cop blockers that lives in your parents' basement, huh?
Surprisingly not.
I live in my parents' basement. Wait, no, I don't.
So do you think the fact that you're openly an activist that films police and exercises your rights is going to help your campaign?
It could help in some ways, and it could hurt in others. I mean, there's bound to be people that are against me that are state worshipers and do everything that the state says without question. And then there's the people that actually believe in liberty and freedom, and I think they'll be more on my side.
Okay, so I got some questions for you here. First of all, what are you running under? Independent, libertarian? What are you running under?
Well, it's a nonpartisan race in the
that's
small
even better.
city of Little Canada. So I'm not claiming any kind of party affiliation, though I am taking endorsements from parties that I agree with. Right now, I have the endorsement from the Legal Marijuana Now party.
Okay.
So that's a
Yeah.
good thing, and I'm going for the Libertarian party endorsement as well here soon.
So if I were to ask you to say, like, take 90 seconds and kind of wrap up what your platform is, could you do that for us?
Sure. Basically, I'm trying to legalize little free libraries. You know, those little boxes of books that people have in their front yards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to legalize them in Little Canada. Right now, we don't, or the city has banned them for private use. I'm also it's crazy. I'm also big on property rights. You know, I don't think the city council should be able to like step in and chastise people for putting in hardwood flooring like they have before. I mean, they have, at previous meetings just totally chastised people for doing minor repairs in their home without permits. And that's something I don't think that should be,
Absolutely.
even I mean, if it's something like a hot water heater or something like, that takes natural gas or high voltage electricity, maybe, but, stupid things like that, no. The city council should have no part in that. I mean, you own your home, you own your property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about what my floors look like? If I want to paint, my floors with a bunch of, pictures of dead kittens, I mean, I wouldn't, but if I wanted to, what do you have to say about that? You
Exactly.
can't.
Yeah.
Not that I would. I love kittens.
All right, well, Copblock Radio is the hard-hitting show. We're going to ask some tough questions because we are your friend, but I'm going to play devil's advocate for the people who are against voting and any form of government.
And what books?
No, voting,
Against books?
government, that government in itself is a coercive force, and playing a part of it, are you doing any damage by trying to play a part in this system?
Sure, that's an excellent point. I don't want to create any laws against people. Basically, I'm there to try to limit the government. I don't want to make laws. I want to get rid of laws. So far in the past 3 years, I have gotten rid of 9 laws in Little Canada, and I want to continue doing that. And I want to make that easier.
Thank you for your service. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm not trying to place more burdens on people. I'm trying to get rid of regulations. I'm trying to make it easier for business owners to open up a business. I don't want them to have to grovel before the city council to ask permission to open up their own business. That is their natural right to make their own money.
Now you're a regular at the city council meetings, so you understand like the way these attitudes are now. Is there anybody on the council currently with your attitude that can use some support from someone like you?
There is one gentleman. He was elected 2 years ago. I agree with him on some issues. He's still kind of a statist, but he's more liberty oriented than all the others.
So do you have a campaign slogan?
I don't have a campaign slogan yet. I'm still designing literature and stuff like that. Filing was just like 2 weeks ago, so I'm still in the beginning stages of this. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of more to come.
Awesome. I definitely can't wait to get these updates because it sounds like this is going to be a story that obviously will develop a lot in the time to come.
This isn't something that's far-fetched that couldn't happen. I want people to be aware that in New Hampshire, like the Liberty Movement, the central of the Liberty Movement, some people would say, they have been able to get many officials elected because there's so many libertarians in the area and freedom lovers. The point is the current system right now is not working, and people know it, and they're willing to make radical decisions on who represents them to make some changes. And I love what you
look at the Republican
Party. Going to a commercial break. We're going to be right back with more stories and more Copblock Radio after this. All right, we're out.
Cool.
Are you? Do you want to stick around, Andrew, and hang out or at all, or do you got to go to work?
I got another 10 minutes And yeah, so I can hang out for another 10 minutes with y'all if you want me to.
All right, yeah, you can do another segment. We're going to talk about some of the top stories. So we'll cool.
Kaepernick.
Copernic. Oh no. Oh
All right,
no, we got it.
I'm going to play the commercials.
Municipalities can't keep up. Standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, lime scale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
A local grandmother is beginning to realize that her family never even looked for a better nursing home. A man leaves a father-daughter dance with a different girl than he came with, and an earthquake late warning system goes off in Haiti. Watch as yet another precious fraction of your life passes mercilessly in front of your very eyes. This is the Onion Week in Review. Shortly after discovering he had locked himself outside of his suburban home Thursday, fully nude claims adjuster David Ronzo delivered a moving and thought-provoking treatise on the frailty of the human condition to a slowly gathering crowd of his neighbors. Ronzo, who initially panicked when he realized he was naked, soon turned and faced confused passers-by and delivered a stirring oration on the grim facts of mortality, along with the indomitable nature of the human spirit. In other news, a man is arrested for stealing over $50,000 worth of beards from Hank Williams Jr. A pretty lady is playing hard to follow, and a dog named Murph lives up to his name. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. You like that nice soothing intro?
Oh yeah, so soothing. It puts me to sleep
We're
every
gonna
time.
do some NPR style radio tonight. We're gonna kick back. We're just gonna
kick back, relax, and listen to our voices.
Hell no,
as we
we're gonna
go
come at
down the rabbit hole.
We're gonna come at these stories head on, and we're gonna get some energy into this show. So, Andrew, from Minnesota, you said that you had some stories. You had something that you wanted to mention about one of the platforms you're running on, and about something about libraries. Go ahead and tell us.
Yeah. So, about a year and a half ago, I was at a city council meeting here in Little Canada. There was a couple elderly ladies that came in that wanted to start a little free library program, and automatically the city just got all up in arms. They were like, well, what if somebody puts, dirty magazines or coupons in these boxes? I mean, that's the mindset of government.
Coupons.
Coupons and dirty magazines. I mean,
if they're nothing else, they're creative. They come up with the dirtiest ideas that no one else have ever done or thought of.
They gotta protect
all around it.
Got to protect that monopoly on books.
Yeah. I just want to see, I just want to hear somebody go up there and just be like, oh my God, what would happen if they walked into Walmart and they had like 4 coupons for the same toilet paper? What would we do?
Pretty much. I mean, and it's just asinine because nobody buys dirty magazines anymore because we all have cell phones and the internet.
I didn't know dirty magazines were still a thing, honestly.
I mean, Playboy's not even a dirty magazine anymore. Playboy's like Maxim.
No,
There's no nudity in Playboy anymore.
Right. It just shows how outdated these people are and how much they want to control every aspect of people's lives. I mean, not being able to have a box of books to share with your community in your front yard is ridiculous. That's like the government trying to regulate like a bench or patio furniture, in your yard. I mean, that's just crazy. So, I mean, that's
Madam Speaker, yes, I would like to talk about Shelley Newman. I saw her on the corner the other day, and I could see her slip.
Bloomers.
Yeah. So I mean, it's stuff like that got me started on wanting to do this. So I just want to make it easier on people. I just want people to have more freedom, more liberty. I don't want the government to have power over these people. The people have to have the power, and that's what I'm trying to create.
So, if elected, have you addressed anything about your salary?
Well, my salary is just all set, but I will donate half of it every time I get paid to a different local organization.
Is that something that you're running on? Is that one of the things that you've told people? Is that public knowledge?
It's not public knowledge yet. I haven't put it into my campaign literature, but I will be. Like I said, I'm still working on that. It's a process to go through.
It's a lot of money that they offer people for a very small job. I can tell you that. City council is 1 hour a week, and they offer them huge salaries.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like.
I think it's important if you're morally doing this to show that it's wrong and to try to correct the system, that you give away part of the money to support causes. I'm glad that you said that. That's why I asked.
Definitely.
So, what other do you anticipate like any like local whatever bloggers or whatever that are against what you're doing to come up with dirt and do trash pieces about you? Like, is there any local gossip about you that they like to try to throw in your face to deter you?
Not that I've seen yet. I'm sure there will be. I mean, I'm not ashamed of my past whatsoever. I mean, there's nothing I have.
The sex tapes out there that's going to surface during the campaign.
I wish there were, So I mean, if someone out there wants to make one and put it out there, anonymously, I'm cool with that.
Well, that's good. You have such a clean past. A lot of people try to deter people trying to do good and try to throw their past and change the subject. I know. I hear.
No hidden adult videos out there online, right? Like
not yet.
Like not yet.
I'm trying. I'm trying, but people are just too unwilling.
If Anthony Weiner can get elected, I don't think you have any issues. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah.
If Weiner can slide by Weiner's Wiener, I think you're in the clear.
All right. I gotta get taken off to work, but real quick, I want to plug my campaign Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ Andrew Henderson for City Council.
Andrew Henderson for City Council Facebook page. Check that out. Everybody, give it a like. Thank you, Andrew, for joining us.
Awesome.
Good to have you on. Anytime you want to come on and tell us more about your campaign and any updates, you're welcome to come back.
Great. You guys have a good night, all right?
All right, man.
All right.
So what do you guys think about the idea to change the system from within? Do you think it's possible, or do you think
I watched it happen a little bit up here. last year, myself and a buddy of mine started working for Scott Marshall at the Oath Accountability Project. We started working for a newspaper and doing stories. And we found out that they had actually planted several people on the city council, all the way down to his 19-year-old son, who was there as the representative for the Republican Party. The kid's not Republican, has no idea what's going on, but they had enough people in this community band together to put him on, so we would have a voice of change and have a way to sway the agenda. Because at that point, once they were done, they actually had it to where if they didn't like it, they could stalemate whatever they wanted to because they had half the votes on the city council.
In my opinion, I would say I think it's a futile endeavor. I mean, you may win some small victories on the local level, but I mean, let's face it here. At this point in time, nothing really happens at the local level. Most things happen at the state level, and even then, it's very, very limited in scope. Most things today that affect your life happen on a federal level, and as far as changing something you have a better odds at changing a tumor by becoming a cancer cell.
But I mean, wasn't it the city council in Philadelphia that began the bill that decriminalized marijuana in the city of Philadelphia? The rest of the state of Pennsylvania, it's still criminalized, but the city was able to pass that because they had overwhelming support for it.
Okay, I just want to break this myth real quick. Just because it's decriminalized doesn't mean that it's legal. I mean,
no, you get a fine.
Yeah, you'll get a nice hefty fine. So at the end of the day,
hefty. It's $50 for less than a half ounce or something like that. Something like that. Anything under a half ounce, it's $50 fine, I think.
But you can counter that with saying, look at what's happening in Colorado. You still have marijuana busts happening in Colorado, and it's quote unquote legal in Colorado, and they are still kicking down doors. They're still walking through the woods looking for plants. I mean, like I said, a futile endeavor.
You're right. All they've done is change it from looking for all of it to looking for the counterfeit versions, the people growing illegally, the people that are getting it from
They're
other. They're
supposed to be able to grow up to, like, I think it's 5 plants by themselves legally. Like, that's just not what it is.
A lot of people grow 5 more. I mean, I know if I was growing, I wouldn't limit myself because the government told me to. But that's just me. We're going to a commercial break. We'll be right back with more stories. We have other guests. Lots of fun. We'll be right back with more of this. Copblock Radio.
Copblock Radio. Commercials. You want to play the commercials or something, or can we talk? Rebel, I'm talking. So anyways, yeah, so I definitely made sure to throw this link over to Miss Katie Tidwell, who I was talking about, Miss I'm in a Billion Lives Matter, just so she knows. Just so she knows. But yeah, those of you who are watching us on YouTube, all like 7 of you, I want to say hi, and it's awesome that you're here. And I also want to tell you guys about this new project I got going on Mondays. I'm going to talk about it later at the very end of this show, but just in case you guys are here, I want you to hear about it now.
I'm Jim Babka with Downsized Easy. Very good. 380.
Smacked me in the face with that one.
Agents.
Is it only gonna do it when I talk? Are you messing with me, Severin?
Yo, I just realized through the whole last segment that our thing was not turned on properly.
What thing?
I hope that our sound came through.
It did. My Mama Dukes is out there watching, and she said things sounded interesting thus far, and was laughing that we were talking about sex tapes. So it definitely had some audio going on there.
Okay. Were you just? I don't know what. So nobody heard those commercials that were just on.
Nope. I was kind of talking and giving myself a little self tug out there, and the second I started doing it, it was like bam, commercials. It was like, oh, okay, fine, I guess I won't.
No, I was just sitting here looking at my settings, like, wait a minute, something's not right. I'm not seeing the thing moving for the commercials, and your face was on the screen. I didn't even have my headset on. So I looked at the setting and I realized that it was set for us to be on air and not for the commercials to be playing.
Just remember, if this beautiful face is not on your screen, something's wrong. I am the face, the beautiful one.
All right, well, we'll be
back in 30 seconds.
Here, now you're making me have to do a sound thing.
There you go.
Now I'll be able to find the end of the commercial since you talked all the way through it.
We didn't have commercials, sir.
Yeah, well, the audio track does have the commercials, no matter what. It's still it's playing the final. It's recording the final result over here.
Gotcha. Okay. So, do you have Bob's pulled up?
No, I don't right now. I'll get it after the halfway point. I'll do that.
Okay, then I'm gonna do the Corey plug real quick when we come back.
All right, we're coming. Welcome back. This is Severin Freeman, Lehigh Valley Copblock.
This is Matthew Taylor of Carbon County Copblock.
And our guest is the Niz from Disassociation Nation.
Who stays quiet and scared whenever we come back and try to promote him.
It's not that bad.
You were talking about a call-in line, though, Severin.
He's the opposite of Paul. That's why they work well together. He's the quiet, intelligent one, and Paul's like the angry, loud one. I'm gonna just shoot them all.
I find myself sometimes typing to him in the Skype chat, like, hey man, relax a little bit. I got to get something in here.
Well, yeah, we have a call-in line, and the number is 413-418-COPS. We would love to hear from you. And if you tried to call already, I'm sorry, I just turned on the call-in line. So we were talking anyway. We don't have it on all the time because we're important like that. We only accept calls at certain times. So we're accepting them now. So if you want to call in, call 413-418-COPS. That's 413-418-2677. Now this week is really special, right? We have.
Before we get into some content, I do want to go ahead and talk about something real quick. We
talked
about a little bit last weekend. Passing it off right here, tag team. Whoop!
Yeah.
There's a tag in. Okay, tag myself. Here we go.
That is news.
We're ready. So, anyways, I want to go ahead and I want to talk to you about a website. It is anti-establishment.com. And the reason why I want to talk to you about this is because they have some really awesome gear that you might want to go ahead and check out. We have our awesome Copblock store, and they have basically expanded on the idea through T-shirts, all 100% American made, right down in the freedom lands of Texas. But you want to check this out. They've got some great shirts, some awesome designs, and honestly, guys, pretty soon here, I'm going to start hanging a couple of these up behind me so you guys can see them. But seriously, go ahead and check it out. For you guys who are on YouTube, if you look at my lower third right now, you can see what the web address is. And yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Corey Watkins here. Pretty sure later on this week I'm going to record a nice little interview with him, and you guys are going to learn a lot more about him next week.
Nice. I can't wait to hear that interview. That is the man that wore the taxation is theft shirt to the baseball game that went viral.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So he designs those shirts, and I want to know, or don't forget to ask him that question. I want to know, did he spawn this career out
before? It was before.
It was before?
It was
so
before.
He made the T-shirts before, and he just went to the game and said, yeah, here's one of my shirts, bitches.
Well, no. What happened is, I don't know if you remember, but if I'm pretty sure it was Josh Hoskins who was really getting on the whole taxation is theft thing really, really hard, and actually issued a challenge to who could make the biggest splash with taxation is theft. And you had some people, holding up banners in front of cop cars or doing stuff at local events, and then sure enough, Corey, just one day, first you see him, and there's a picture of some Rangers tickets. Then you see him going in, and there's this green shirt underneath his shirt, and he hasn't taken it off yet, but you know that there's something fun on that. And then sure enough, he takes a picture of the shirt and where he's sitting, and you think, okay, that's going to be the end of it. But then sure enough, he's sitting right behind home plate, so they focused in at one point, and he caught that they were focusing in and just stands up and just lifts the shirt and just says taxation is theft right across it as they're throwing pitches.
That was epic on a colossal scale.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like there was no that he hands down shut the competition down. There was you short of going and writing this on the White House lawn, I'm not sure there was anybody who could have topped that.
Yeah,
well, we had somebody try to call in the call-in line, and I'm not sure, but I think it was a troll. All I heard was a loud scream. It sounded like they were trying to curse into the phone, but the microphone crapped it out because they were yelling so loud, and then they hung up.
Nice.
Bummer.
Yeah, nice.
They love our
copsuckers.
Yes, they are known as the cockroach. They crawl out from under things, and then when you turn on the light and say hello, they run away and scurry away. Any scrutiny or conversation, because there's nothing rational about their argument. It's just jumping up and down like a child. No, I love them and you don't.
They're superheroes. They're all superheroes. We should thank them every day when we go to bed and pray to Jesus. Okay. Hate mail's coming in starting now.
Send that hate mail to Copblock Radio Show at copblock.org, and we will be sure to get back to you whenever. We'll be sure to read them on the air and laugh at you, actually, because that's what we normally do with all of our hate.
Public shaming. Yeah, that's excellent.
Like kind of we should do that. Take a couple of them and kind of read them like the mean tweets that Jimmy Kimmel does, because we've got some good ones.
So quick question, guys. Who's been watching the news this week? Or actually yesterday. Who watched TMZ yesterday?
I had a feeling you're talking about Chris Brown.
Yeah, Niz, did you watch this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Famous name. We all heard the name, Chris Brown. I mean, it's a shame that this happens, but he made a pretty big mistake a while back, and that'll be what everyone thinks about when they hear his name. He beat up the beautiful Rihanna.
Rihanna's sitting back like, ha! Told you.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, she's on top of the game. She's
got him.
But anyway, he went out and apparently kept up his same old behavior and pulled out a gun. Allegedly pulled out a gun and threatened a girl. And the cops went to his house, and he cop-blocked them.
He did. That was hilarious. I'll give him that.
He had a warrant and slammed the door on their face.
I really wouldn't have paid any attention to it if when the live feed notification came across, it hadn't have basically been like Chris Brown slams door in face of officers saying get a warrant. I was like, wow, you're kind of a really crappy person, but at the end of the day,
yeah,
I'm entertained now.
You've piqued my interest.
Yeah. I'm gonna pay attention to this. So
I was I didn't follow this to the end. So Matt, you followed this to the end. Did they get the warrant and go back and make the arrest?
Of course they did.
Did they?
They did.
They actually got a warrant for his arrest. How could they get a warrant based on there was no evidence other than someone saying he did something?
I mean, not to say anything.
Yeah, I thought they could get a warrant for questioning or something like that, but they can't get a warrant for arrest without more evidence than just someone saying he did something.
I mean, there's two things we got to realize. One, He's a public figure, which means if they have anything that they can actually do to arrest him, they're going to attempt it, just because, especially when they can get PR for their local township or wherever they're out of, they're going to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like this was OJ and there was a Bronco and like 2 dead bodies and stuff. This was, he did this. Somebody just sitting over there saying that, but at the end of the day, the best way to show your guilt over something is to go, no.
Let's just forget about the fact that we know he's Chris Brown and he's a pizza.
Well, what I love about this is the Los Angeles Times, the LA Times, their article refers to it as a surreal standoff.
Exactly.
Like as if he was like in a Waco or Ruby Ridge type standoff. Come on, all the guy did was say, go and get a warrant. No, I'm not coming out. No, you're not going to arrest me unless you go and you get a warrant for my arrest. It wasn't a standoff. Get real.
We're not mentioning where the standoff part came from. The result of a couple cops being told no is they called up the whole SWAT team and every cop in the tri-state area to come surround one man in his house who's sitting back smoking a cigar, just on the phone with his lawyer, like, yeah, these fools are outside. We're just going to wait them out.
Be like, listen, it's not like you can have any worse publicity than you've already had in a couple of years ago, so why not? Why not just do it? And I do kind of find it, hilarious that, you're right. Like, why was this one of those things that they felt without enough evidence? Because the complaint was put in 6 hours prior to them showing up at his door. Like, there's not enough of an investigation. I think some officers were like, yo, let's go arrest Chris Brown so we can get ourselves.
Come on, his agent called him up in the morning and said, Chris, your career's not doing so good. I have a great idea.
We'll be right back. I like that. Your career's not going good.
Yeah, if you see either Severn or I frantically making like motions, we're coming to the end of our segment.
I started in on it before.
It was perfect timing. All right, I'm gonna play the commercial. For real this time, I'm gonna play the commercial.
I don't believe you.
Can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand. It's about demonstrating to the entire country.
Yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market, making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger. That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent. What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Email is easy, instant, and free, and that can be real embarrassing. Email lacks the eye contact and body language you get in face-to-face conversation, or the tone of voice and other nuance you hear in a telephone conversation. Email is just words, often few words. We're all smothering in spam, so we often reply in terse fashion that's easy to misunderstand. And email doesn't cost you a postage stamp, and it lacks the deliberation time it would take to walk to the snail mailbox. So
realize
it's easy
what's
to
really
succumb
going on
to
in
the
this country.
yeah,
There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust. People aren't being held
when in
accountable
doubt,
for.
don't snap
And
back
that's
at
going
the
on.
messages you get. You may have mistaken the sender's intent, and unless you're sending AOL to AOL, there's no unsend. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Yeah. This is Severin Freeman. We have Ellie Copblock, and this is Copblock Radio.
Woo-hoo. Hey everybody, this is Matthew Taylor, Carbon County Copblock, and with us our special guest, Mr.
Niz from Disassociation Nation. See, I didn't hesitate on that one.
Yay! He got his lead in.
I
right.
got it! Yay!
Took 47 minutes to get that one through.
It's cool. We didn't actually prep him on how we introduce ourselves, so it took. I mean, it only takes a few times for people to figure it out, right?
Trial and error.
Yeah. So let's get to one of our other top stories for the night. The Colin. Oh man, I'm gonna kill it again.
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick. All right, Colin Kaepernick.
I'm Severin, and I don't sports at all. Those guys out there sportsing, when they go and they sports for the whole team. And when they go down there and they score a goal, yeah, it's sportsing all the way.
Yeah, I don't care if it makes me less of a man, but I like the Eagles, and I couldn't name two players on the team right now. So that's how I.
You can name one.
That is how I do sports, man. I do them hard because I know when my team wins, because my Dunkin' Donuts app goes off and says I got a free coffee the next day, and that is how I roll.
Oh man, I'm so sad that you said that. As a diehard Eagles fan over here.
You know what? I used to be like diehard and all about it, and like dress in Eagles clothes all sports season long. And I don't know. Well, your team can only lose for so long before you kind of stop getting all crazy about it every year.
No, that's not the way it works. I sit there and I torture myself every year. And, I'm really surprised I don't have like an Eagles tattoo on me somewhere, because it's eventual. It will happen.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how we trailed off all the way over here, but we were going to talk about Colin. his display the other day. I think it was about a week ago now, where he decided he was going to sit for the national anthem, and the world stopped. And everyone, and when he did that, God was angry. And God struck down mankind in such a vicious fashion. Yeah, the world kept spinning, guys.
That's
people just got mad because he wasn't freedoming the right way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, seriously, people sit there and they to the African American community, they sit there and they go, don't be violent, don't be violent, don't do it this way, don't do it that way, and then the second somebody just sits down, they're like, and don't do it that way either. That's not the way either. It's like, what are these people supposed to do? Oh, you're mad that he's a football player and he makes a lot of money? Get over it. The man has a platform and a really good message that needs to be paid attention to. And so many people are concerned about the who that they're forgetting about the why. And the why is the important factor in this whole entire thing.
He had me up until he showed up for that press conference in the Castro shirt. And then I face palmed. I was like, oh, man, you see what you did? You see what you did right there? The truth of it is that we live in a country that's over $20 trillion in debt, over $120 trillion in unfunded liabilities. The Pentagon just lost $6.5 trillion. They don't know where it's at. They don't know. You're bombing children, spying on your citizens, the list goes on and on. But you're upset because this tool didn't stand for your special song. Then you really need to take a good look at your priorities. You need a really good self-evaluation because you're doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have the interview that I guarantee at least 90% of these rage addicts have not listened to this interview. All they have heard is a man didn't stand up and he doesn't love our country. So I want to just play this. We have it. It's 5 minutes long. It'll bring us up into the commercial break. But we might have a minute to come back on it. But let me just start this now.
I hope we do.
Accomplish. What would you like this, to be the end game for you?
That's basically. Ultimately, it's to bring awareness and make people, realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust. People aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. That's something that, this country stands for: freedom, liberty, justice for all, and it's not happening for all right now.
Is this something that's evolved as a philosophy in your mind, and how has this kind of progressed that you make a stand like this?
It's something that I've seen, I've felt, wasn't quite sure how to deal with originally, and it is something that's evolved. It's something, as I've gained more knowledge about, what's going on in this country in the past, what's going on currently. These aren't new situations. This isn't new ground. It's things that have gone on in this country for years and years and have never been addressed, and they need to be.
Colin,
will you continue, Colin, to sit? Will you continue to sit?
Yes, I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change, and when there's significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, and this country is representing people the way that it's supposed to, I'll stand.
Specifically, what would you like to see?
There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right. That's not right by anyone's standards.
Colin, so many people see the flag as kind of a symbol of military. How do you view it, and what do you say to those people?
I have great respect for men and women that have fought for this country. I have family, I have friends that have gone and fought for this country. And they fight for freedom. They fight for the people. They fight for liberty and justice for everyone. And that's not happening. People are dying in vain because this country isn't holding their end of the bargain up as far as, giving freedom and justice and liberty to everybody. It's something that's not happening. And I've seen videos, I've seen circumstances where men and women that have been in the military have come back and been treated unjustly by the country they fought for, and have been murdered by the country they fought for on our land. That's not right. There have been situations where I feel like I've been ill-treated, yes, but this stand wasn't for me. This stand wasn't because I feel like I'm being put down in any kind of way. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice, people that don't have a platform to talk and have their voices heard and affect change. So I'm in a position where I can do that, and I'm going to do that for people that can't.
Is this the first year that you haven't stood up? Or did you do it other years, or is this the first time?
This year's the first year that I've done this.
You did all the preseason games so far?
Yes.
The first time there's notice.
Yes.
And what went on in the meeting today? How did your teammates respond when you explained yourself today, and what was the support like?
the support I've got from my teammates has been great. You know, I think a lot of my teammates come from areas where this might be a situation. Their families might be put in this situation. It's something that I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, you know, I really respect you for what you're doing and what you're standing for. So to me, that's something that I know what I'm doing, what's right, and I know other people see what I'm doing is right. It's something that we have to come together, we have to unite, we have to unify and make a change. I don't understand how it's the wrong way. To me, this is a freedom that we're allowed in this country. And going back to the military thing, it's a freedom that men and women that have fought for this country have given me this opportunity by the contributions they have made. So I don't see it as going about it the wrong way. This is something that has to be said. It has to be brought to the forefront of everyone's attention. And when that's done, I think people can realize what the situation is and then really affect change.
You've done it every preseason game.
People getting murdered by police. I mean, do you think that the scenes is sort of an indictment against police?
There is police brutality.
Yeah.
People of color have been targeted by police. So that's a large part of it. And they're government officials. They're put in place by the government. So, you know, that's something that this country has to change. There's things we can do to, you know, hold them more accountable, make those standards higher. You have people that practice law and are lawyers and go to school for 8 years, but you can become a cop in 6 months and don't have to have the same amount of training as a cosmetologist. That's insane. I mean, someone that's holding a curling iron has more education and more training than people that have a gun and are going out on the street to protect us.
Wow. He made some really good points. Cosmetologists get more training than cops. We're going to be right back after our halfway break with an interview with the man that was arrested last week at a city council meeting. This is Copblock Radio. Stay tuned.
Things up enough that the people will actually revolt in a big way.
And what will that result in?
Millions of people in the street, you know, and the military guys ain't gonna like it.
So what is your goal? You don't really know, do you? You don't really know what you want besides chaos.
A bloody revolution in the streets is
You
the
want
only
a bloody
way.
revolution? This is why I don't want to associate with people like you. Thank you for the call. You're dangerous and crazy, in my opinion, if you're talking about bloody revolution. Violent revolution just results in more violence in the future because the people who were the most violent are the ones that rise to power in whatever new power structure is created after the revolution's all over and done with, after the blood has spilt. Whoopee-doo, you've changed out one gang of criminals for another gang of thugs.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.LRN.FM. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
More Copblock Radio is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. Silver is trading at $18.71 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,315 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $579. Antiwar.com reports death tolls in the Saudi invasion of Yemen have been tough to come by, in no small part because much of the country has been a no-go area in the course of the reckless Saudi air campaign. Food shortages, medical shortages, destroyed hospitals, and hasty burials have conspired with mass internal displacement to make tracking casualties all but impossible. But just a week after the UN Human Rights Office reported 3,799 civilians killed over the course of the war, the UN humanitarian coordinator, Jamie McGoldrick, told a news conference he believes the overall death toll is in excess of 10,000. With many areas turned into war zones, there aren't reliable records on casualties, and with millions displaced within the country and some 200,000 having fled abroad, it's often impossible to tell who was killed and who simply fled elsewhere. All these factors are likely to mean that we will never fully know the death toll of this war, but McGoldrick sees ample reason to believe it's on the high end, and with more than half of the population reliant on food aid, which is not always quick in being delivered, there's always a risk that the toll gets precipitously worse. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports as part of his Second Chance initiative, President Barack Obama on Tuesday commuted the prison sentences of more than 100 nonviolent drug offenders, setting a new monthly record. Obama announced the commutations of 111 more individuals, bringing the August total to 325. 35 of those who were granted relief Tuesday have been serving life sentences. The White House said in a statement, "We must remember that these are individuals who have taken steps towards rehabilitation and who have earned their second chance. They are individuals who received unduly harsh sentences under outdated laws for committing largely nonviolent drug crimes." The White House added in a tweet on Tuesday, Congress must act to enact a fairer federal sentencing system. The total number of commutations Obama has granted since taking office is 673, more than the past 10 presidents combined. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports in a landmark ruling for non-traditional families in New York State, the state's highest court on Tuesday held that a person need not have a biological or adoptive relationship with a child to be considered a parent. The decision by the New York Court of Appeals gives such individuals legal standing to seek custody or visitation rights. Judge Sheila Abdus-Salam wrote on behalf of 5 members of a 6-judge panel, the state's earlier definition of parent has become unworkable given today's increasingly varied family relationships. According to the ruling, a person can claim parenthood by presenting clear and convincing evidence parties agreed to conceive a child and raise the child together. New York has been a laggard in expanding the definition of parenthood, as a majority of states have already recognized non-biological, non-adoptive parents. The ruling mainly affects unmarried couples with children, as married spouses with children are presumed to have parental rights. Tuesday's ruling arose from 2 cases involving same-sex couples. In one, a woman became pregnant through artificial insemination and, after the relationship deteriorated, cut off her former partner's contact with the child. The partner subsequently sought joint custody and visitation, but was turned down because she was not a biological or adoptive parent. The second case involved an unmarried same-sex couple who had a child before splitting up. The biological mother sought child support from her former partner. The court granted her request, but also allowed a visitation petition by the child's non-biological mother, ruling it would be inconsistent to consider the latter a parent, but only for purposes of paying child support. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the Nosebuds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is Copblock Radio, and we're having fun. We have lots of guests tonight. We have lots of special people on. We're all very special in our own little ways. This is Severed Freeman, Lehigh Valley Copblock.
This is Matthew Taylor of Carbon County Copblock.
Niz from Disassociation Nation.
And we have a guest, a very special guest. If you guys were listening last week, we had Carlos Miller on live on the scene of a city council of arrests that occurred at a city council meeting. Well, the man was able to get out from jail, and he is joining us live here tonight. This is James from PINAC. He's a correspondent with Photography is Not a Crime. What's up, James?
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank
How's
you.
everybody doing tonight?
Thank you for coming on. We're doing great. We're glad you made it out of jail. First of all, glad that you weren't hurt or nothing major happened in that ordeal. Do you want to tell us from your perspective? We heard from other witnesses. We heard what's going on. Tell us what's going on here. How did you get arrested? Why are these people arresting citizens? What happened?
Well, last month I went to the city council meeting and I was talking about corruption in the police department and the city, and they give you 3 minutes to speak, and I was about 2.5 minutes in, and Officer Garland Wright came and ejected me mid-speech, escorted me to the back of the chambers. When we got to the back of the chambers, I turned real quick. I was live streaming on Facebook the whole time.
A quick question. Does the media come to your local council meetings? Like, were there media there with cameras rolling already?
Channel 4, 7, and 10, I believe, were there, and the local newspaper, South Dade News Leader, was there. And I think maybe a Miami Herald correspondent might have been there as well, along with other PINAC correspondents, including Carlos Miller.
So like, these guys just boldly grabbed you and pulled you away with no reason. Did the mainstream media report this right away? Not the arrest itself. I'm talking this is what happened first. You were at the meeting and they escorted you out mid speech because you were saying something they didn't like. I would imagine, right?
Exactly. Sadly enough, I think it was that week or right after, our local newspaper published a letter in their letters to the editor section in the back by a citizen who was just saying that if anybody who's never been a police officer, never been in an academy, that you couldn't criticize the police until you did, which is kind of funny, you know. I've never laid tile, but I can tell you if the tile's not laid straight. I don't mop floors, but I can tell you if somebody did a good job or a bad job. That it's completely antithetical to say that we can't question our government officials if we've never done their job.
And this is
I'm assuming they probably likely criticize presidential candidates and presidents, and they've never been one.
And this is what you were saying to them when they did. Now, when the cop decided to come grab you and remove you from the council meeting, did you get any kind of verbal warning? Did the council say your time is up, go away? Was anything like that happening, or were you just talking and they grabbed you?
No, he didn't grab me. I was talking, and Sergeant Wright is acting as the sergeant of arms, and he walked up mid-speech and said, "I'm going to ask you to leave now." And I said, "You're asking me to leave?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm asking you to leave." I was like, "What did I do? What did I do? Can you tell me what I did?" And I just started walking. I didn't want to have no problems. At some point, we really didn't get it that great on video, but he was pushing on my back to get me to the back of the chambers. When we got to the back of the chambers, I turned around to get a shot of his badge, and then I walked out of the chambers. He turned walking back to his duty station as Sergeant at Arms, and he said, "Have a good one." And I said, "You have a good one too. I'm going to sue the shit out of your dumb ass." At which point, He turns around and starts chasing me down. I'm continuing to walk out the whole time. He gets in front of me about 10 feet before I walk out of the door, blocking my egress to leave, and was like, I didn't disrespect you a single time, but you want to talk like that? I appreciate you not.
He threw you out of a meeting and made you shut up. He took away your First Amendment right, but he didn't disrespect.
Yeah, I kind of consider that to be disrespectful.
All right.
I mean,
Go ahead with what you were saying. I love how the disconnect that happens with these guys. Like, oh, I didn't do anything. Well, the only reason I'm in front of you is because I'm here because I don't want to be here. I'm here because you're forcing me to be here. They just don't. They don't get it. They don't get it. The amount
exactly.
So anyway.
So after he tried to tell me to disrespect me, I tell him, well, sir, I would appreciate it if you didn't violate my First Amendment rights. And he explicitly responded back, I didn't violate your First Amendment rights, but if you want me to.
Huh.
Seriously? Come on, man.
So,
I mean, I left.
At this point, you leave the meeting. You go back and you decide, do they have the meetings every week? This was a week later that you decided to go back?
Once a month. Once a month.
Oh, so you had to wait a whole month to return.
Yeah, but it gets interesting because the next morning after I got kicked out, my PI got verbal confirmation from the city clerk I hadn't been trespassed. And the morning before this meeting, we got our response to our records request, which was asking for any police reports, incident reports, or anything else relating to me being kicked out, and if I was trespassed, and if so, the explicit paperwork saying. It came back the morning of this month's meeting saying non-responsive, basically I'm not trespassed. However, the night before the meeting, I published a story including a video of everything that happened for photography'snotacrime.com, and I also posted it on Legal Affairs.
This was a month later almost that you posted this? It was right before the new meeting?
Yeah, we wanted to give them as little bit of time as possible to react. Because they play all kinds of silly games. And so less than 24 hours before the meeting, I published the story. And the morning of the meeting, I got written confirmation I'm not trespassed. I walk into the lobby, walking towards the chambers, and Wright comes back up to me, excuse me, sir, I'd like to talk to you outside. So I say, yes, sir, very politely. We walk outside. He tells me, due to your comments and your actions at last month's meeting and your behavior, you're now being officially trespassed from the city of Homestead, City Hall, and you can't come back till you get permission. And I said, how do I petition that? He said, you can write a letter. I said, can I get this in writing? He said, there will be a report written. So I turn to walk away, and I say, look forward to seeing you in the deposition, sir. Have a good one. Take 10, 15 steps, and he says, that includes the parking lot, too. And the way I walked out, I had to kind of make a right turn to get to my car.
I don't know if your state laws are a little different. I don't think you can be trespassed from a public building like that because you need access to that building if you live there. So they're basically telling you...
Like I can't go to the clerk's office to pick up
City
public
Hall
records. I can't go to the cashier's, pay a bill. No, exactly.
Exactly. Like, they can't do that. That would be unconstitutional to ban you from something that you're still forced to pay for. Because it's City Hall, you're paying for that building.
And the great part is he's telling me that he's trespassing me for an action that I took 30 days ago that he responded to, but there's no report.
Wow.
And he has no written warning to give me. Nothing in writing.
He chases you down on foot, and were you out in the parking lot by this point?
Well, no, he's not chasing me down at this point. So I say, have a good one. I'll see you in the deposition. And I walk down the steps. When I get to the bottom of the steps, I make a right turn, walking towards my car. I get about 15 steps away, and he says, that includes the parking lot, too. He's about at my 3 o'clock position, so I continue to walk towards my car, but I kind of turn, and I say, I'm leaving, buddy, bye-bye. And as I say bye-bye, I give him the middle finger. Then I turn back, continue walking, never stop walking at any time, and make it 10 steps, 15 steps. I cut my video feed. I think everything's cool. I'm going to get in my car. Then I hear, sir, stop. I want to talk to you. So I start my video up again, and they start rushing me or walking towards me. And you can see in my video I just published, I'm not good at guessing.
Where is this video located?
True Homestead. True Homestead on Facebook.
Okay, True Homestead Facebook page?
Yeah, that has the video from this month and the video from last month is up there.
Send me a link after you get off this call. I'll post it on the radio show page as well. So they come out, they arrested you. You're now headed to jail.
Yeah,
all because you spoke against something that they were doing. We'll be right back with more Copblock Radio after this commercial break. All right, we're out. James, did you have more that you wanted to say? Is there anything else to add to that?
I can talk. Yeah, I can talk more. They completely falsified the A form and some other things. If you guys have more time, sorry for cutting you off at the end. You were breaking up. I didn't hear you start, so I didn't mean to start cutting you off there when you were going out.
All right, it's cool. We'll I'm gonna play the commercials then. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Obey it.
I'm here.
You can do that and you have to leave here. You cannot reside in the ground. Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me. There is no video audio apologies. No, I have work today. This is you ain't gonna make now, wait a minute. The other road. Whoa. Hey! Oh my god! Unbelievable! Because you're scared of me. What am I being paid for? You're being served. What is this? You're being served.
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $2 lower at $1,310 per ounce. Silver is 8 cents higher at $18.74 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $571 US. Silver is at its lowest price in 2 months, making for a great opportunity to buy more. Give us a call today at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronic, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality, storable foods from Numana. And right now, take advantage of our summer special. Purchase 2 family packs and we'll send you a Pro Pure Water Pitcher, a $70 value, free. This premium pitcher is ideal for use with just about any water source and removes more contaminants than other brands. And it comes with a filter that lasts up to 2 full years. Whether you need to be prepared in the event of an emergency, you're an outdoor sports enthusiast, Numana is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. And with a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Go to foodforliberty.com right now for great-tasting, high-quality, storable foods from Numana. Buy 2 family packs and get the Pro Pure Water Pitcher free. Make sure to be prepared. That's foodforliberty.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. Before we cut out, we were just finishing up with our guest, James. James, you were arrested at a city council meeting. Before we cut out, we were just getting to the part where they got to you outside. They arrested you. They then brought you to jail. So, did they take you straight to the jail at that point?
No, they took me to the police station, and I stayed there for about 5 hours or so. They asked me if I needed medical attention. I said yes. When the officer put the cuffs on my wrist, he was using the hinge cuffs, and he put them on very, very tight. And about a minute later, my left thumb was completely numb and tingling. And I was like, "Sir, you need to loosen these up. I can't feel my left thumb. It's numb and tingling." He's like, "Oh, let me check. Oh, I can get a finger in there. You're
They were
good."
real rough with you. Were they treating you pretty bad, being rude to you?
Well, when they walked me back past, there was about 50 police officers, 30 to 50 police officers in a department of 100, all standing on the platform, and they're all laughing and pointing and making comments. I mean, I was like their victory. I was their trophy. They finally got me. They got Doc Justice.
I mean, I'm sure. Do you have a lawyer at this point?
I have a lot of attorneys.
Well, that's
Multiple.
great. I'm really glad that you have a lawyer working on this for you, because this is an obvious a violation on so many different levels. I mean, from the minute he made you leave the meeting all the way up to them intimidating you and just violating your First Amendment right. I'm sorry this happened to you, man, but we all had your back. Carlos was on this show last week talking up for you. We were ready to make whatever calls and do whatever we had to do to put pressure on people, but you got out pretty fast. So we were happy to see that. The story will be in the show notes for this on copblock.org. You can also follow the story on Photography is Not a Crime. And where can people find you, Eric?
I'm James Eric McDonough on Facebook, and I have Troom Homestead on Facebook, and I have PhD2B05 is my YouTube channel.
Excellent. So we'll be in touch. We'll be following up on this story, man. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you, sir. God bless. Good night.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for the riveting blow-by-blow, step-by-step story. It was really good to kind of hear it from beginning to end. I know we got a little bit of it last week, so it was really kind of good to hear it from beginning to end with every single step that happened. So
it's scary to me, because I go to a lot of city council meetings, and I do speak out. I've been on the news a few times. Matt, you've been on the news in the same council meetings I've been in.
Right.
So we both have done these things, and it's just a little scary to know that the cops are out there and they're actually they're in some towns pushing people the way that they are, and even making arrests. Like I can't wait to hear how the lawyers handle that situation.
Yeah, I mean it's clear cut that it's it's about retaliation and retribution. When you hear stories like this, I mean, it has really nothing to do with law enforcement or anything like that. This is strictly about you hurt someone's feelings, and now they're out to get you, to make you pay for hurting their feelings.
Oh yeah, it's been established for a long time, and in fact, Copblock's own rest in peace, Adam Rapika, he showed it in a video that won a major lawsuit settlement that giving the finger to the police is not only legal, it's protected by the First Amendment.
Hey, before we move on real quick, I've got what sounds like a buzzing, hissing noise. Is Eric still on with us?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can hang up, man. I didn't know that you were still on.
Thanks, gentlemen. I'll have some updates coming soon. I'll share them with you.
All right. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
So, I lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot, Matt.
I'm sorry. I can't get over the fact that it sounds like there's a fountain or a waterfall going on behind, like in the background. Still, Severin, I'm sorry. I normally don't ask you to do this, but can you help him along with it? Thank you.
All right. So anyway. You know how you go into your local courthouse and you go maybe into police stations and some random places around town, you see those boxes. They look like mailboxes almost, but the front of them say prescription pill drop-off.
Yeah.
They tell you you're not supposed to dispose of them in the trash. Like junkies are out there rooting through your trash every night. Did you know this epidemic is happening? I didn't know this epidemic happened.
Oh, you've never seen the Alex Jones the gay frogs?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what reference that is, but
You're flushing birth control down the toilet. That's how you get gay frogs.
just Google that, Sever. It'll give you a good solid laugh.
Oh man, that's pretty funny.
It's more It's more classic Alex Jones that just makes you wonder why he's still being listened.
The point is, it's just another government program that was created for no reason. There was no demand for this program. It was someone's imagination. Once again, they said, well, if I throw them in my trash, they could crawl through my trash and find them and take them and give them to our kids on the playground. And
so instead, let's just stockpile them in this box that can just be stolen as whole and just gone through like a goodie bag like it's Christmas morning.
Well, there's one in the front of the courthouse that's guarded pretty well by cops. So, I mean, you would think that your pills are safe at that point. You put them in there. No one's going to take these pills. I mean, you can't put them down the toilet. So you got to put them here so no one will take them. Right, guys? Right? This is the whole point. They're going to properly dispose of them. Right, guys?
That would be my assumption.
By properly dispose of them, what they mean is they're going to take them and sell them. Well, gay frogs, you can't do that.
Well, actually, what they mean is the drugs are too good to go into some homeless guy's hands or your nephew's or anybody who could find them. No, don't throw them down the trash or in the toilet either. No, because the cops want them for themselves, and it's been proven. Yep. In California, Venture, California, a cop has been caught taking all the goodies out of those. There was the cop that was supposed to be disposing of them. He would root through the pills and find all the good ones, and he had a party. He had some good times.
You know what the total was? You know what the total was for the street value for what he took?
What?
No.
You don't? Okay. Let me see if I don't either. I was just asking.
I didn't read the whole story actually. I was just reading the Cliff Notes version about they got him they have him set up with a plea bargain already. He's likely to be facing a stiff fine and a couple days suspension, but he'll still be a cop.
Oh,
he'll still be a cop.
Surprise, because accountability and all of that is just something that just you don't see inside the police. But what I have come to determine for myself and making this promise is I know there's at least 3 of these inside of Lehighton, Pennsylvania right now, and I think I'm going to go buy about 40 pounds of M&Ms and Chiclets, and I'm just going to fill that. I'm just going to fill the box.
Just get some Dulcolax, some laxatives.
Yeah, you should get a whole bunch of cheap laxatives and put them in bags like you're a drug dealer and just walk in there and make a big scene about it and be like, I quit, it's not worth it anymore. Throw them in there.
Got all these oxys, man, I'm just going to put them in this box.
I am no longer a part of the game. This is ruining somebody's life. They're spending way too much time on the toilet. They can't do anything. This has got to go.
Well, you can check out that story on the copblock.org/show or copblock.org when we have our show post. We will be right back with more Cop Block Radio after this.
In 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
We're back with more Copblock Radio. And our wonderful audio is always brought to you by Creamy Audio.
Yeah, fail. Our Creamy Audio is brought to you by anti-establishment.com.
Yes, because Matt doesn't crackle like he did last week. Do you guys remember the old days? Everybody who listens,
where I sounded like a Dalek.
Yeah.
Exterminate.
Or where it like, peaked so loud that you want to rip your headphones off when he like did a voice or something and it didn't level.
You mean when Gilbert showed up?
Yeah, Gilbert. Even Gilbert sounds quiet when you're not close to the mic.
God, right?
That does sound good.
That mic levels you out nice. Thank you, antiestablishment.com. And thank you for making the awesome show. I love it.
Absolutely. If you guys want to be a walking billboard to change the minds of the sheeple, head on over to anti-establishment.com.
All right. Well, I believe, Niz, you have something that you wanted to discuss. There was a story in the news that intrigued your interest.
Yeah, I saw this.
Wait. Oh, let's toss it to him properly. Let's get the Niz. let's get the Niz song. Niz. 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 Oh, wake up. Niz.
I was wondering when you were going to do the scratches.
Niz.
There we go. Well, there was this article here that I saw on the Free Thought Project, and I thought that this deserved some time to talk about it. The headline for it is, a single police department costs taxpayers nearly $2,000 a day to keep bad cops on paid vacations. And the...
That's about right.
Pardon?
That's about right.
Par for the course.
It sounds about right. And the police department they're talking about is Broward County, Florida. The Broward Sheriff's Department. Arguably, this is one of the most brutal law enforcement agencies in the country.
What state is it again?
This is in Florida, Broward County.
All right.
Deputy
Hello,
Gerald.
Rita, for those who can't read.
Deputy Gerald Jerry Wengert. This is the cop that forced his canine to tear into a teenager for suspicion of spray painting a train car. Is one of those cops that was given an extended paid vacation. According to the report in the Broward New Times, for the past 440 days, Wengert has been on paid leave. Since his annual salary is a little over $72,000 a year, he's cost taxpayers $87,000 so far for not showing up to work. New Times also reports that Wengert is one of the 9 Broward Sheriff's Officer deputies who are currently on paid leave while being investigated. Also includes Officer Peter Peraza, who fatally shot Jermaine McBean in 2013 and is currently being sued by McBean's family. He's now been on paid leave for 257 days, earning a total of $51,000 in that time for not working. New Times did the math and found that cops accused of criminal behavior are costing local taxpayers in Broward County $1,720.47 every single day. That's over $260,000 a year. And it gets even worse. Bad policing cost American taxpayers over $1 billion. That's according to a report by the Wall Street Journal. 10 cities with the largest police departments paid out $248.7 million last year in settlements and court judgments in police misconduct cases, and up to 48%. That's up from 48% from 2010. When totaled, in the 5 years of police misconduct in these 10 cities represents $1.02 billion in payouts to victims and their families. And if other forms of misconduct, such as vehicle collisions and property damage, are included, the total rises to $1.4 billion. And that's just in 10 of the United States' largest cities. That's not including everywhere. That's only 10 of the largest cities.
Give me a moment while I go vomit out of rage.
I'm just sitting here how much was the total cost of the Iraq War? I think that they compete, don't they?
Well, wow. We sit here in a country where we have people we cities like Detroit that are just scrambling, trying to keep people, in actual qualified housing, where you have a homeless population that is skyrocketing, and instead of taking money that we should be used to help our community, we're using it to just pay people who are just the scum of the earth because they can't. The thin blue line just can't fathom going, yeah, you know what, we have some crappy ones on our side, and maybe we should, I don't know, maybe we should turn around and let these guys go. Any other job you do, you screw up, they let you go back in the workforce, hope you find something different, probably won't if you screwed up enough. And then you have this where they can do the most heinous, wretched acts you could possibly think of. And what do? They stay on payroll. And it's like, you know what? Maybe if we keep them on for 2 or 3 years, they'll forget and you can come on back. But until then, we'll just pay you.
Well,
how does that work?
This is my opinion as an abolitionist, is that this is because law enforcement in the U.S. is controlled by a government monopoly. There's no market competition. And therefore, there's no incentive to provide better, more efficient, and more cost-effective service. It's a product, a service that you are forced to purchase. You have no option but to foot this bill. So you get whatever they give. And
wrong. I gotta say it wrong. Listen, that is exactly what that was exactly what the American people's mindset was back before you had automatic or you had recalls on cars. You were supposed to just you bought it. That's what you get. If there's a problem, you fix it yourself. You pay your own money. Until enough people stood up and stopped taking the thumb up the ass. And that's exactly what we need to do as a country. We need to stop taking the thumb up the ass and just fight back on this one. I mean, this is just 10 cities. What is it? What is the number of the entire country? Mm-hmm. I bet you they won't release that number because that's the number that would piss every single American off.
It's astronomical.
Because that's the number that you find that you can pull healthcare, you could pull free education, you could pull, we sit here and we have problems with, people being on welfare and saying that there is not enough, there's not enough money to keep people on welfare, and we got to get rid of Social Security and all this stuff, but yet we are paying out billions of dollars a year that could cover all of these programs. We're paying billions of dollars a year to keep horrendous people paid because they made a horrible life decision, and instead of turning around and getting them charged and putting them in jail like what they're supposed to do, because that's what they do to everybody else, they're getting a free pass, and it is screwing everybody else who lives in this country.
It's not just a free pass. It's a paid vacation.
Yeah,
It's a paid vacation.
That's absurdity.
Unfortunately, right now, under the way that the current system operates, you get what they give, and that's just how it is right now under this current system. And more often than not, with increasing frequency, what they give is a few thousand volts from a taser, a few whacks from a club, or even worse, 2 to the dome. You call the cops for help, but instead you get broken arms of freedom, and the cop gets a paid vacation while the taxpayers get a hefty bill.
Now, Niz, you're totally against voting, correct?
Yeah, I am. And what I think, my next question was going to be, so what can we do to change this? And in my opinion, what we can do is we can open the market on law enforcement, remove the government monopoly on providing this service, and create competition for this money. And when you create competition, then that breeds that breeds innovation. It gives incentives for increasing efficiency, and you have a choice. If police department A or law enforcement provider A sucks, and their cops suck, and they're beating people up, and they're murdering people, and they're clubbing people, and they're acting with vendettas, you can say, okay, well, we're not going to pay you anymore. We're going to go with police department or police law enforcement provider B because they provide better service.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea in theory, but let's just take a look at Time Warner, okay? Time Warner was a company that, it's supposed to be free market, and, if they're not providing you a service, you're supposed to be able to go somewhere else until you get one company that gets big enough that it monopolizes the whole entire thing, and then you have a problem. What do? They lean back, rub their nipples, and go, oh, you don't like that? Oh,
that's what we have now. We have a government monopoly on this. So is a government monopoly any better?
Well, so instead of having it going into a government monopoly, you would rather, that money just turn around and turn it as opposed to the obvious money racketing that happens now. You just want to privatize that and make it even worse. Look what happened to the prison systems when we privatized it. Look what happened to them.
They're not truly privatized. They're not truly privatized.
Well, they're not anymore.
This after a commercial break.
Here we go. Now we're getting lively. Only took 90% of the show to get to a topic we all want to talk about.
Your opinion is exactly how I feel, Niz. That's what I feel like the solution is.
Yeah, well, a lot of people now are starting to push.
Don't blow your loads. Don't blow your loads. Hold it.
All right, we'll come back to it because the last story sucks anyway. So if we just run out with this, it doesn't matter. It's our last segment.
I'll debate you guys on this. This will be fun.
All right, let's.
We have two different opinions on this, so hell yeah, let's just turn this into a debate. We haven't had a good debate in a while.
All right, well, I'll turn on the commercials then.
Okay.
Place into the right systems the right way the first time, so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine, so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap, coincap.io.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting vandykemortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Copblock Radio. Final segment of the night. This night kind of went by fast.
Yeah, it did.
Good.
It's been a good time.
I'll agree with that.
But before we cut out, we were talking about the cost of police and some solutions that might help. And
hold up, guys. Let me remove the gloves real quick. They gotta come off, guys. They gotta come off, all right? Because normally, guys, I think we sit on the same side of the fence, when we come to situations like this. But, I almost believe that abolishing the whole thing is a lot better than turning around and privatizing it. Because honestly, let's take a look at what happens when we privatize just about anything else. If you're going to sit back and tell me that
here's the question. Because I have to stop you there, Matt.
Yeah.
What is something that has been privatized and is not regulated by the government? That there is no government involvement in it whatsoever. An example of what you're talking about that exists in a truly free market environment.
There is not a single thing.
Church.
Yeah, to a point.
But they got to get their papers in order first in order to operate autonomously.
Exactly. So to sit back and say that you would be able to privatize it and it wouldn't have government oversight, government advisors, still rules that you would have to follow by that point. No matter who's doing the job, it's still going to be a government entity. So at the end of the day, it's still going to get the same pass. It's still going to get all of that because at the end of the day, you're still putting the badges on people and they're still going out there and they're doing the work of the government. So at the end of the day, when you go ahead and you do that, they're still going to get the same pass that they do because once they hit that courtroom, they're back with their boys. They're back getting their pass. The thin blue line will not go away no matter if it is a government-ran thing or if it is a privatized company. It's not going to go away. You're not going to see the change that you think you're going to see because you're going to people want to sit there and say, oh, well, if we turn it over to the people, maybe, the right people would get involved and then we would have good police. Well, my argument to that is police now are just everyday people who are in a system, and they turn into what they turn into because of what they're allowed to do. When you give people too much power, they corrupt themselves. No matter whether you are an arm of the government, or if you're just a guy who decides that he owns a company and can turn around and jack the prices of AIDS medication, it doesn't matter who you are. The corruption and the power will always win out. So whether it is a government entity or not, you're not going to see the change.
You vote with your dollars. Every time that you make a purchase, you're giving your money to a company. So if on the same line of thinking, I guess you can say, before we went to break, you had said that that we have private prisons now, that they've privatized prisons.
Well, they did. They took that away because it failed miserably.
Well, it failed miserably. It failed miserably because it was never truly privatized. A true privatized organization is characterized by competition in the free market. That didn't happen. A private organization does not enjoy monopoly powers that are given to them by the state. They don't. Nor are taxpayers forced to pay for any services that are offered by a private organization. You're not forced to fund that with your tax dollars. That's not a free market. That's not a free market service. So if we have prison A that's doing unscrupulous things, and people don't like prison A, and you have this free market on law enforcement, then you could decide that you're not going to send any people who break the rules in your society to that prison. That prison goes out of business. The focus should be on rehabilitation, not revenue generation, not filling cells. The focus should be on people not going back to jail.
Well, I absolutely agree with you, but you're talking about a society that we don't live in. You're talking about a free market society, and let me ask you this. Give me one company that's actually a part of a free market society in the United States. There is no such...
Well, there was. No, I can give you an example.
Free market society is a myth.
I can give you an example. The vape industry, up until the FDA deeming regulations, was a free market. It was not it was a gold mine. It was a gold rush. There were no regulations. The industry was self-regulating. There were child-proof caps on over 90% of the products. Why?
Wonderful.
Not because the government said so.
It was wonderful. Okay. People liked it. That's why the government had to stop it, because they weren't getting their fair piece.
The second they don't get their fair piece, they're going to get their hands involved. And if you sit there and think that you're going to be able to somehow revolutionize the entire way that this works and have the government keep its hands out of what is basically the largest cash cow in their entire arsenal, you're insane. It's not going to happen. You'll never see it.
The other direction that it'll go is they'll increase the police, and they'll federalize it, and they'll make it so that it's more militarized,
more centralized control.
Aren't they doing that now?
Militarized, though.
That's what the push is right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what all the hard leftists and the progressives are talking about, is that they want to federalize the police forces so that they're under the control of the U.S. government. And there was one country that tried that before. I don't know if you can guess what it was.
Germany.
It was Germany. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, I also want to come back to your argument of saying, well, if you don't like prison A, don't send people there. Well, when you sit there and you turn around and this is a company, how often does the voice of the little guy ever weigh into the decision makings of a company? It rarely does, because if it
Target and their gender neutral bathrooms. People voted with their money, stopped going, and now Target backtracked and is begging people to come back to their stores because they lost billions of dollars because of that move.
Absolutely, they did. But at the end of the day, that was in one spot that they tried to pull this move, and you saw what happened. Now turn around and sit there and think, okay, this is a company that only had the ability to make a decision, and they had to follow what the people said because they had no authority over said people. But if you have a company that has the authority to, if you do not agree, to lock people up because they're not either paying their fines, they're not reporting to the jails that they're supposed to report to, all the stuff that happens when you have policing involved, you're going to tell me that the people turning around and saying, no, we don't want that, we don't want to go to jail, that's going to mean something? No, they're just going to sit there and they're going to do it anyways. We see how it works. The second you give somebody power over somebody, that's when the whole situation changes. Target doesn't have power over people. They actually rely on the people to pay them so their company can remain. But when you have a revenue stream that relies on the fact that you do things to people for that revenue to be made, then the last thing you're going to do is listen to the people who have a concern, because their concern is most likely, we don't like what you're doing and we don't want to pay that.
What you're describing right now, Matt, is the system that we have right now. I mean, it's a revenue generation scheme.
Absolutely, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm telling you is that if this is a system that we have and it is exactly the way that it's going to be, then maybe that's not the change that we need to make. I mean, there are changes that absolutely.
It's not an untested system, though. Privatized security is a totally tested and proven system. It works. It's used in neighborhoods, wealthy neighborhoods all over the country. They have gates up and they have their own privatized security that handle their little problems in their neighborhood. Privatized security is a huge solution to the problem, because if you're only telling these people, look, we're paying you for one service. When we call, we want you to respond. That's it. They're not out looking for revenue. They're not out looking.
No, and it behooves them to do a good job, because if they don't do a good job, then come Monday morning, they're not going to have a job. Someone else is going to have their job.
But for some reason, you think that you're going to be able to do this with a company that has control over every single person inside of their community. Now, you can have this with a security company that maybe, I don't know, patrols a hospital or patrols a warehouse or patrols a certain area. But when they start patrolling the entire town and have control over everybody in the entire town, they're not the people won't have their say anymore, and that's what we have now. And we're not going to see that change happen, because the government will not allow that to happen. But it won't. You got to be realistic with your end games.
Let's say that your house gets vandalized, and you call the police in your neighborhood now, and they come and they say, well, there's not really a whole heck of a lot that we can do. We can file a report. That's about it. And you're not happy with that. What option of recourse do you have at that point? None. But if you had an alternative provider for that service, then you can go to that alternative provider, and that would give incentive to the previous provider to step up their game.
All right, well, we're coming up to the end of the show. This is a great topic. We could talk all day about this on solutions. I love talking solutions rather than focusing on all the problems, because the problems are there. We know the problems are there. Yeah, we're going to still report on them, but it's great to talk solutions instead. We're at the end of the show right now. My name is Severin Freeman. You can find me at Lehigh Valley Copblock on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and right here at copblock.org/show. Check it out.
This is Matthew Taylor of Carbon County Copblock. You can also find me on Mondays on Question Your Perception, found live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as here on Copblock Radio every Wednesday night.
And I'm Niz. You can find me on fprnradio.com every Monday night, Disassociation Nation, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're also on YouTube at Disassociation Nation and disassociationnation.com.
We're out. Perfect timing, man. You didn't even hear the music, and you stopped right at the end. Perfect.
That's good. I like it when it works out.